lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another great race here in the HTL Season 6, the Creative 350, the ABN Creative 350 from Kentucky, presented by Team Conti. I'm Alan Bergen, just south of St. Louis here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Studio, and alongside my brother from another mother, Mr. Shane Lake, the big dog from Maine. Shane, how's it going?
My man, I'm telling you, since you weren't around for last week, I'll fill you in. And the simplest thing I can tell you is after that beatdown John Hagen put down on everybody at Homestead, he's obviously going to be the favorite to win here tonight. But I'm going to say this right now, Kentucky has also provided some real great racing for these boys and girls here at the HTL Cup Series. So I'm going to be interested to see who does what in the next 145 laps.
Yes, you're absolutely right. 145 laps, 350 miles. And there's one driver that has turned me into a fan, and that is Caitlin Height in that number 3 car. She won Daytona. She came out the gate just blazing. She's already locked in. Last week's winner's locked in from Homestead, Miami. And, I mean, we're ready to rock and roll. I hope you guys are too. The weather may be cold, but the race is hot here in Kentucky.
Oh, man, I'm telling you right now, 75-degree track temp. Overall temp. Track temp is sitting at 117. They are going to be slip sliding around like they're on the Kentucky Bourbon by the time this race is over.
Oh man, yeah. As we're looking high above there, Shane, we were talking about this over the air or before we went on the air, and this track is actually designed and by, with the collaborative help of Daryl Waltrip DW, and as you notice, it's a D-shaped oval, and the garage area is shaped like a W. Not a lot of people catch that, but it's a nuance that we do catch here. But right now, as we're about 3 minutes into warm-ups here, to get a 5-minute warm-up, Tyler Ratliff is the fastest in warm-ups here.
Only you would bring up the fact that this was done by DW. Only you.
I got a lot of time on my hands.
Apparently, and speaking of time, some of the notes I've been keeping an eye on from watching everybody with practice, these tires are going to be falling off about 2 seconds from start to finish of a run, which is going to go, once again, roughly 45 to 50 laps. So it's going to be interesting to see if people play a conservative game or if they just say, we're going to go as hard as we can and try to just hope cautions fall as they may and try to make sure that their strategy plays out by the time this is over.
Well, I tell you what, like last night in the NFL game, they're going to be going on that Kansas City Chiefs strategy and play the long game.
You had to sneak in the Kansas City Chiefs too. Come on, dude.
Look, I'm not the only Missouri guy that's in this race lobby, and we're talking about Mr. Seth Wansing. He's from Peculiar, Missouri. So some Show Me State guys.
You're talking to a New England Patriots fan, dude. I checked out week 6. Give me a break.
Because you had nothing to play for.
Exactly. But it's all to play for here tonight with these guys. And the other big thing we're going to have to keep an eye on is with these tires falling off, how soon before they start downshifting the cars? Because you're going to hear a lot of them keep it in 5th gear early on, but as the tires start fading down, how long before we start hearing that infamous little wah-bah downshift going into these corners?
Yeah, absolutely. And as warm-up's getting finished up, we're going to go ahead and go trackside to the pit road here as soon as these guys start getting gridded up here. $145 laps, as Shane alluded to.
Yep.
And Shane, we're going to go over that starting grid right now.
Yep, and the Overshot Pole Award once again going to John Hagan, last week's winner in the number 97 with Kyle Taub on the outside. Tucker Slayer and Tyler Ratliff will make up row number 2. David Schmiel Jr. and Seth Wansing make up row 3, while row 4 is Mark Kissenweather and Josh Arnold. Row 5 is going to be the boss man here, Blake Henderson and Shad Swatsworth, while row 6 is Josh Shusey and the Daytona 500 winner, Caitlin Height. Row 7 is going to be Eli Sosik and Jonathan Adams, while Matthew Boone and Ross Baxter make up row 8. Row number 9, Bailey Thompson and Richard Ode III, while row number 10 is Zachary Apperson and David Wright. Give them the rest of it.
And starting in 22nd position, it will be Jeremy Peralt, Dylan McDonald, and starting 24th will be Alfred Denny. Carmen Sienna in the number 96 car will be starting 23rd. Starting 25th will be Kevin Gibney Jr. with Zachary Meredith starting in that number 26 position. Starting 27th will be Elias Flores and Dean Clever starting 28th. Starting 29th will be Gary Donaldson with Steven Overstat starting in that 30th position. And that will, Shane, round out your field here tonight, your 30-car field, as we are get these guys cranked up to crazy.
We got more than 30 cars in this field, my man. We've got a full 40-car field, it looks like. I'm looking at this right now. You got Lily Sharp, Dustin Hall, Hunter Peach, and DeMonte Dodson showed up here as well, along with Alfredo Hurtado III, who's making a debut in the 5-car, Nate Blankenship, 35th and 36th, respectively. It looks like a few cars are not going to be able to take the green, but showed up. Caitlin Height, Josh Grayman, Austin Mongold, Dale Markowski, Kate Sweet, and Dylan McDonald are going to be rounding out everybody who showed up here. But the pace car lights are off, and we got one lap green from here in the Bluegrass State.
Well, I can tell you right now, let's go on board with some of these drivers here. That number 24 car as they struggle to find the right one. There's the right one. So Seth Wansing will be carrying the Busch on board, 23-year-old out of Peculiar, Missouri. About 4 hours southwest of the 20 Paso Memorial Studio.
You had to use him first, didn't you?
We're from the Shelby State. We'll be on the board with the boss man out of Atlanta, Georgia, 3-time HTL Cup winner. And giving us his perspective tonight out of Mapleton, Maine, will be Dean Clavitt.
Hey, fellow Mainer in the house. Let's go get it.
Shane, it's time to do what you do best.
And that says one thing as Barney's got the green flag waiting in his hand as that pace car is about to make that hard left-hand turn. Boys and girls, get the bourbon and the chicken, and don't forget the spices, because we're about to go 145 laps from here at the Kentucky Speedway. It's the ABN Creative 350 for the HTL Cup Series, powered by Team Conti Sim Performance. Ladies and gentlemen, we are green!
Green flag is out. They go ahead and cross the finish line. John Hagan going to get the early advantage, driving off into turn number 1.
He was strong last week at Homestead. This is absolutely zero surprise to me right now.
Yeah, these guys are all fanned out. That's going to give you a good perspective. These guys are already 3 and 4 wide back there in the field, just jockeying for position. And, you know, Shane, we're going to see that fall off. These guys race like this, we're going to see that fall off really quickly.
Yeah, because right now there is absolutely zero give and zero saving. And the one thing I'd be concerned about with these people going 3 wide, as we've seen in the past here at Kentucky, the apron of the tri-oval, there are a couple of massive bumps in it courtesy of drainage. So if you catch that just right, is it going to buck your car back up into traffic? It's only a matter of time before somebody gets crossed up.
So far, we survived 2 laps here in Kentucky. So not really anybody sipping on the moonshine just yet. Tucker Sawyer went quick timing at number 95 car.
Yeah, that's not surprising either. I mean, that 95 was lightning quick as well at Homestead. But unfortunately, they just ran into the buzzsaw that was John Hagan. And John just literally put it to everybody that race. So
Shane, this is your second week officially here on the HTL. Are you saying that John Hagan is going to run away with this championship maybe?
Well, I caught a lot of what happened at Daytona, through the other stream. And Hagan looked relatively solid, but of course, Daytona being Daytona. Now that we're in the meat and potatoes of this championship run, and yes, I just said meat and potatoes, ladies and gentlemen, deal with it. I mean, I'm not wrong when it comes down to this is where you have to make headway. Get the wins and get the points early, because later on in the schedule, you don't want to have to go to the road courses like Watkins Glen or Road America, or, have to fight around at the short tracks to try to end up making a championship run. So if John Hagan can get stuff done early, and with it being, another great intermediate setup from the peeps over at Team Conti, something tells me it just fits his driving style that much more. And he doesn't have to make the creature comfort changes that a lot of other people have to. So I wouldn't be surprised if Hagan, tries to break out early and try to put a gap to everybody.
Mark Kissenweather went quick time that last lap with a 31.90. So, I mean, I'm kind of scared that we're at lap 6, and you got the 6th place guy is going quick time in the race. I mean, the tire burn-off is going to be really, really massive here. And that car is going to get tight.
Oh, it's either going to get real, real tight or she's going to get real, real loose. And I know a lot of drivers, you know, through hearing things earlier, were complaining of a loose race car. So once those tires start falling off even more, the handling is going to change big time. And we're already starting to see the drop-off because Hagan's best lap was originally a 31.90. He's already down to running, you know, 31.96 is, you know, even a couple of high 32s. So he's already trying to save a little bit of tire as it is.
Right now, as it stands, it's 76 degrees. So if you're in the stands, it's a Chamber of Commerce type of day. But if you're on the track, it's a scorching 118 degrees on the racing surface. So I mean, you're just about able to boil an egg, or fry an egg rather.
Oh, you are able to fry an egg on this thing. What are you talking about, man? These tires are going to get fried by the time this is over. And here's the other thing. Like I said earlier on, pit stops are going to be between 40 and 50 when it comes to fuel. But do you end up coming in sooner because of the tire fall off? Once again, here's where your strategy tries to play out.
Exactly. And John Hagan continues to lead after 8 laps are in the books here from Kentucky.
Yeah, and let's not forget laps 35 and 75 are the stages, but they don't run stage breaks here, but they will be awarding points to the top 10. So while we may mention, you know, who's going to be in the top 10 at those points, you know, we're still going to be keeping an eye on the action because it's going to be fast and flowing all race long here.
You know, I wish NASCAR would take a book out of their page. Look, I'm for the stage racing, but can we just not do the cautions?
Dude, I'm with you because, again, being an old school fan, I'm used to it being, you know, drop the green, go 500, drop the checker. You know, this stage racing BS has really put a damper on things because NASCAR is trying to cater to the fans that don't have the long attention spans. And I have covered this tooth, nail, hammer, and tong on the morning show that I'm on. That's the nature of the beast with all the sports, and that's why, you know, people don't sit around for games like they used to. They don't sit around for races like they used to because now they can just catch all the, you know, highlights early on and say, yeah, I'm able to see, oh, this is great, this isn't, you know, and carry on. That's what the stage racing has been. It's literally like 3 mini races in one actual big event. And it gets annoying after a while.
So right now, after 11 laps in the books, John Hagan continues to lead this thing. And I want to go on board with some of these guys that, for example, Caitlin Height. Let's go on board with Caitlin.
Yeah, let's see what the Daytona 500 champ's up to.
And this is her dashboard right now. So right now she's in 5th gear. I want to find out if she is, you know, shifting or not just yet. Caitlin Height, the driver out of Boston, Massachusetts. Your cousin Caitlin from Boston.
You had to go Sam Adams, and it didn't sound like she shifted.
She's not shifting yet, but she's back there in traffic though. And she really is back in the corner though, from what I can see.
Yeah, and the biggest thing again with the way this setup is, this is a bottom feeding setup, which means you're going to be battling everybody to get to the bottom of the track. But if you can also make that second groove just on the outside of those seams work a little bit, you know, you'll be able to make some headway later in a run. Now, obviously, you don't want to get up near the wall because that's just going to be the death of the car. But, you know, if you get up in that second groove off the bottom, as we see a couple of cars actually trying to do so, you can actually make some headway.
We're going to go on board with Lily Sharp there out of France. 20 years old. Now, this is almost like the tale of two stories. She's not really shifting yet, but she's running that middle line. She had to back out. She got a little bit loose.
Yeah, and again, Lily is trying to get that second groove to work and maybe actually conserve a little bit of tire. I mean, she's not exactly sacrificing a whole lot of time, but I'm also thinking that this is not as far up as she really wants to be because this car is fighting her right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just wonder if she burnt them off already, burnt off them tires.
Man, the way this track is baking, you're going to burn off tires no matter where you're running.
That's very true. A little bit deeper in the field, we'll go on board Dean Claffett out of Mapleton, Maine.
Dino.
Now here's the tale of two stories here. Dean is mired back in that 25th position. He's only up 3 spots. In that number 29, or number 94. He's 29 years old. He's driving that number 90.
Yeah, and it sounds like he's also not shifting either. He's trying to experiment with lines a little bit. Like he's actually arcing it from the second groove down and then just letting the car kind of eat its way back up towards the top of the track. I just heard a little backfire right there. I think he did shift going into 3.
He did not.
Oh. Sounded like there was some backfire somewhere.
Up here a little bit further out in the front, out of Peculiar, Missouri, Seth Lansing giving us that beautiful push light on board with High Limit Racing.
I was about to say, don't tell me you're going to try to say roll that beautiful beam footage.
That's not Bush's baked beans on that car. It's Bush Light.
Well, the way you were going, dude, I was about to say, don't tell me you're going to go that road.
I mean, at least it's not like Bush Latte.
Oh, God, don't get me started.
Back out to the wide shot here as we get Rose and St. here. We want to remind everybody to hit those likes, subscribe, to get those bells ringing so that way you're notified every time that HTL goes on the air with Sim Racing Media. Get those bells ringing so that way you are definitely notified because we got a great race going on here. I mean, there's just so much action on the racetrack right now.
Yeah, and if you end up hitting that like and subscribe and get that bell on, you get to hear me yell, "Get off my lawn" every Monday night. Because yours truly is in the HTL booth every Monday night. You can also join me every Saturday night for the ECR League, which will be kicking off as well this Saturday.
Yes, and I just want to point out there, Carmen Sienna is now a chartered driver in that PC and Bank
number 96.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought. It's been a long week.
Oh, it's a long week. It's only Monday. Long week. It's only been Monday, dude.
Lily Sharp just brushed the wall ever so slightly. Didn't do any damage, but it's going to start making her think her life's choices and what line she's running.
Yeah, I think it just stepped out on her a little bit. As we were focused up there on that 96. And, PNC Bank always has some pretty dope-looking paint jobs, and that's another one. I just love how reflective the blue is on that car. As we're focused up here on the 3 car of our Daytona 500 winner.
And Kentucky is one of those tracks that I wish didn't go away. Not just because I'm partial to the Bluegrass State and the Kentucky Wildcats. Just because the track produces a lot of great racing. And unfortunately, now it holds vehicles.
Yeah, and you mentioned great racing. I was doing a little bit of fact checking and a little stat digging before coming on here tonight. The craziest thing is, most of the races here for HTL have been decided by either side of a second for a margin of victory. That is some tight racing. And of course, they're going to be coming back here for the season finale later on in the summer. So running well here now might give you a little bit of a notebook for what you need to do later on.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Let me put the strategy out. Knowing that you're coming back here for the season finale, if you're Daytona 500 winner Caitlin Height, and then your last week's winner from Homestead, do you treat this as a test session?
No. You treat this as you need to go out there and win this thing because you want to have a bit of an edge being built in going into the playoffs. You don't worry about this being a test session quite yet. You focus on being able to get the win here now, and then when you come back for the finale, if you're in the championship 4, you know you'll have a great shot going into this race compared to anybody else. So, no, you don't treat this as a test session. You treat this as 350 miles of competition that you need to win.
That's fair. Right now, the boss man, Blake Henderson, and that number 25, I just love that Bojangles. I've never been to Bojangles, but I do love that Bojangles paint scheme that Blake is carrying on that Ford Dark Horse Mustang.
Man, I haven't seen Bojangles. Man, I ain't seen Bojangles on a stock car since 1993 and Alan Kulwicki's team after he passed.
Well, now you're seeing it now with Blake Henderson as he's looking to the outside of Caitlin Height. Not really thinking about that 2-for-1 special, but thinking about making it 3 wide.
Yeah, trying to get that second groove going, and the way these guys and gals are entering turns 1 and 3, they are really getting close to that fence. So I'm surprised we haven't seen more people, knocking the sides off their cars.
I mean, you're not wrong. We're working lap 27, getting ready to put 27 laps into the history book. Here we are, 28 laps in. I'm Alan Bergen. He is Shane Lake. And you're watching the ABN Creative 350 from Kentucky, presented by Team Conti. And I tell you what, Team Conti, Michael Conti, is a proven champion in the NASCAR Coca-Cola E-Series. Retired, and now he's putting that same knowledge that he's built and putting it out there, and does so much for the iRacing platform that he's sponsoring drivers, he's sponsoring series. He's just giving back.
He's like iRacing's actual Dale Jr. I mean, that's the only way I can put it, is he's iRacing's actual Dale Jr. I mean, Conti was, one of the best behind the wheel when it came to the E-Coke series, championship proven. And his setup shop has been throwing out banger after banger setup. And now that, they're sponsoring drivers, they're sponsoring leagues, case in point, to be able to have a Conti setup underneath you, you're getting top of the line setup, time and again. So it's great to see Michael doing all of this for the leagues and for iRacing in general. And, my hat's off to him.
Right now, John Hagan and Mark Kisselweather are running away with this thing. And they got about 2 seconds all the way back to Seth Lansing and the rest of the field.
I actually did also a little bit of digging because I found the sponsor of today's race kind of intriguing. ABN Creative. It turns out it's a D&D style website that focuses on camp car and cup style storytelling. Like, you can create your driver, tell the story, the whole 9 yards. And I mean, being a former D&D person myself, that actually kind of perked my interest a little bit. And of course, if people want to learn more, abnstudios.tv/ABN-creative. Keep an eye on what else is going on with them. So, my hats are off to that as well, because that is definitely a very niche market to try to do a D&D storytelling.
And right now, as you were saying that, Mark Kissenweather is just all over John Hagan, putting on the proverbial hairnet, getting ready to serve lunch to John Hagan. And we're sticking with this battle for as long as we can, because this one, my friend, is getting ready to heat up hotter than soup at the soup kitchen.
Yeah, that old 12. Yeah, that is pretty hot, man. That 12 car is looking pretty racy here. Getting ready to chase down Hagan. Like I said, Kisselweather was relatively strong at Homestead. I mean, had a decent run going, but obviously ran into the buzzsaw that was Hagen. And right now, these two, even though they're trying to battle for the lead, have legitimately checked out on the rest of the field to the tune of 2.8 seconds on Seth Wansing in the 24 car.
Well, here's the battle right here. That's David Schmiel just passed Seth Wansing on the outside for that third position. There's the eyeball test. They can barely see, so third place on the back can barely see Hagen and Kissenweather. But, I mean, some of these guys are actually making it work on the outside. Ooh, we just had a driver just brush the wall ever so slightly. No harm, no foul there.
Yeah, and this is the point where the tires are really going to start going away on everybody, because we are just getting ready to get to the window of pit stops the next 15 to 20 laps. So I wouldn't be surprised that, you know, people are going to start harping that they need some feel goods on these cars anytime soon, as we have just finished stage 1 in this race.
Stage 1 winner will go to John Hagen. Can he switch? Can he sweep the stage? Take stage 1 in here.
Yeah, it's gonna be Hagen, Kissenweather, Schmiel, Wansting, Henderson, Susie, Taub, Slayer, Height, and Ratliff, the top 10 at the end of stage number 1.
Top 10 get the stage points. Everybody else will have to try harder next time. As we got Carmen Sienna. I believe she's coming down pit road. And she's decided, you know what? Speaking of Dr. Feelgoods.
Yeah, time to switch the strategy up a little bit. Again, that PNC Bank paint job, dude. You know, I've gotten used to seeing it with Scott Dixon in the IndyCar series, but seeing it on a Cup car, dude, that just looks evil.
You ever been to an IndyCar race, Shane?
No, I haven't.
You haven't. You got to get to one. TV
Well,
doesn't know justice.
Kind of hard to do when they don't come to New Hampshire anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the closest place to me that would host an IndyCar race would be a whale of a trip for me. Trust me.
Yeah, that's true.
Because even Watkins Glen don't have it no more.
That would be the absolute closest, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and they don't go there anymore. So I mean, I'm looking at, you know, going. I don't know. I'd be looking at. It'd be a whale of a road trip. I'll put it that way.
Right now, we got cars coming in pit road.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of the top 10 from earlier are starting to come in, which means they are definitely doing tires over fuel. So you're looking at you're going to be looking at a lot more tire stops, because this place is going to wear all of them out. It's like a much bigger Darlington.
That's what I like about track like this. Once those tires start to go, you can really move around on this racetrack. And I just love racetracks where you can slide that car around. You gotta go find the grip. As right now,
that's because you're a dirt track guy, dude.
True. And speaking of dirt racing, guess what? We're getting. First of all, I gotta give a shout out to one, Garrett Albertson, for winning Saturday at Volusia for the Sunshine Nationals. You know, Saturday rather. Friday was Ryan Gustin, the Reaper Ryan Gustin, won at Volusia on Friday night. But it's, you know, the UMP modified guys and the sprint car guys, they're getting ready to go gator hunt at Volusia this weekend.
to this day, I still say Volusia needs to be in iRacing, not just as a dirt track, but as a paved track, because what it did in the first stage was the 8 car just bounced off the fence.
That's okay. No harm, no foul. He's just banging the board.
Yeah, just knocked a little bit of the wax off the wrap to be fine.
Well, while these guys are doing pit stops, we are going to go ahead and step aside. You won't miss a thing here on Sim Racing Media. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks. Welcome back to Sim Racing Media. We're under our first caution of the night while we were away, and Shane, let's see what happened to bring out this caution, or what I think happened.
Well, you're gonna have to take a look up in 3 and 4 because we had one car parked up against the fence up there. So
Let's see here. See if we can't find it. Bear with me. These guys are under wholesale pit stops here. And the fact that we went 52 green flag laps without a caution.
yeah, 52 laps here at Kentucky before the first caution. That's some pretty hard-nosed racing, and it was good. It was good to see that get that big run out of the way.
That's pretty impressive. We went through a stage and a half.
Yeah. Before, unfortunately, the rhythm got broke by whatever just brought this yellow out. I couldn't tell who that car was that was up against the fence.
I do apologize. We're looking, well, the control truck has not been able to find it.
I'm not sure. I saw the 4 of Epperson dropping down in this running order. It could have been around him. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, just like your grandparents, they catch me Christmas time. Because we're getting lined up 2 by 2. Noah's Ark out behind that iRacing.com base car. Coming down that back straightaway. Once again, you're watching the AB Creative 350. 53 laps into this race. James Wright checking in on YouTube.com live chat. James, the racing has been on the north side of phenomenal.
That it has been, and now we get to see relatively even between the top few cars. I mean, you might have some that are on slightly older tires. The top 15 are on fresh stickers, it looks like, while everyone else has been on theirs for about 10, 12 laps. But as the iRacing.com pace car makes the hard left-hand turn, Barney's got the green flag up in his hand, and there's only one thing left to do. Pull those belts tight one more time, because we are going back green from Kentucky, and that 97 is gone.
Like a rocket, John Hagan gets the early jump as we're on board with Blake Henderson, 22-year-old out of Atlanta, Georgia. We're going to go on board with a couple of different drivers here. Hunter Peach out of Abilene, Texas. You know, I would say all his exes live in Texas, but he went to Abilene.
Did you really have to go there?
Bailey Thompson, 16-year-old, the youngest, quite possibly the youngest person in the field out of Huntsville, Alabama, his 4th season in the HTL Cup Series. Racing like a true professional out there in the Unforgiven Motorsports stable.
Believe it or not, some of the toughest competitors are these young kids coming up, so it doesn't surprise me any.
Is it because the young kids are more risk, or they take more risks and not so much a conservative approach to a race?
Oh, easily. The fear in these kids is non-existent. They're willing to, do what it takes, but the smart ones also learn from the older ones with the experience. I mean, not to shoot my own horn off or anything, but I've taught a lot of kids way back when it came to driving, and I'm also, someone's bobbling up front here. Looks like it was a 74 got itself a little bit loose. But back to the point, I was actually teaching, kids a few tricks to the trade myself, and it's kind of why, jokingly, on a couple of Discords, I'm actually kind of the, well, I call myself the Jeff Burton of their Discord.
So you're like the mayor.
The mayor of the garage, and if you know where I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
Well, I want to highlight Josh Gaiman there. He's up 21 spots. He's running 17th right now. Finally trying to top down the gap inside the repopulate. Fine. Do that. As long as you don't do nothing goofy outside of that, we're all good to go.
Pretty much.
But I do want to point out something here, on Alfred Denny's car. It's Reese's, not Reese's.
Oh, we're really going to get into a pronunciation battle of this.
Although what you will. But meanwhile, back out front, John Hagan and Jonathan Adams doing Jonathan-type things. And that's leading this field, along with Josh Susi and Blake Henderson in that 29 car.
Here's the interesting thing. John's got his teammate behind him now. How hard does Adams end up racing this guy? Knowing that both of them could be in the championship. But, Hagan has proven to have the stronger car.
Hagan may have the strongest car, but right now it's all about teamwork. Working together as a team. Getting yourself in position to win these races. And this is one of those leagues, Shane, that we come across every once in a great while. Actually, more often than not. Where these guys can race 2, 3, 4 wide and not touch anything. Not even touch the wire in a screen door. And this is another one of those every point matters situation. Now, here's the thing, though. If you're John Hagan, you're not going to roll over that easily for your teammate.
Oh God, no. And if you're the 91 car, you're going to put the pressure on them, but you're also going to make sure you don't put both of yourselves in jeopardy and fall in the clutches of either the 25 or the 81, or even drop further back than that. So I mean, this is where it's kind of tricky racing a team.
Right now, there's the top 4, and just behind the top 4 is Matthew Boone, rather. Sorry, and that number 28 car. And I guarantee you, by the end of the season, we'll see some textual have-win motor oil on that 28 car. I'm sure of it.
It wouldn't surprise me to see a little bit of a throwback to either Ernie or Davey on that car. I mean, it'd be fitting.
I was a Davey Allison fan. Not gonna lie. 100%.
I grew up watching Davey a little bit, but I started out as a Rusty Wallace fan, and then I moved over to the 24 camp with Jeff Gordon. And trust me, that made life at my household on Sundays very interesting, considering my dad was one of the biggest Dale Senior fans I ever came across.
Want to give a shout out. Speaking of dads, I want to give a shout out to my father, who was recovering from a fall at the airport in Long Beach, California. He's recovering quite nicely. He broke his femur, and leaning up against a barrier. Anyways, came in got home last Wednesday night, resting quite nicely, recovering. Give a shout out to had to give a shout out to Mo, man. He's not used to being stationary. So
My dad used to be the same way.
And this man has told. It's funny because whenever someone asks him about a movie that he's seen, he's literally seen bits and pieces. Because he has the attention span of a gnat.
That sounds about right. to be honest. I mean, my dad was the same way for a while. And then really the only time he ever really sat down was either to watch a Patriots game or watch a cup race.
Well, so did your dad ever like fall asleep during a cup racing and he tried to turn the television channel and goes, "Hey, I was watching that." No, you're not. You're snoring, dude.
Not during a cup race, but actually during the news. Like literally, I remember when I was a whole lot younger, you know, when Dan Rather was hosting the CBS Evening News. God, I'm dating myself here. And my dad would have fallen asleep in the chair. Just we had a Barca lounger at the time, you know, nice and soft, and you could probably doze off in that overnight. And he would pass out in it, and I go to move the channel because, you know, news for a kid at the time was boring as hell. And he'd perk up like, "What do you think you're doing?"
Well, what's not boring right now is this battle between Dave Schmiel Jr., Caitlin Height, and Bailey Thompson. And we'll throw the number 99 car into the mix of Elias Flores. These guys have been battling for the last couple, 2-3 laps here. As we now have 68 laps.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's just, you know, the nature of competition. You had a few cautions last week, but they got it right towards the end, and the last segment went pretty well green straight through. And here we are once again with another long green flag run. So, I mean, this is what racing is all about right here. And this is the type of racing I love covering.
A little bit deeper in the field, Holly Height, 88 car. I think she's starting to have issues with that automobile, as she is really struggling to stay out of her own way, unfortunately. Still
Yeah, I don't think the setup's to her liking because, you know, being up there and getting freight trained is not good. So there's something definitely wrong with that 88 car.
Well, right now she looks like that car looks really uncomfortable, which means she's probably really. Now the only race in this league or the season that wasn't fixed setup was Daytona. They ran open setup. The rest of the season, fixed setup all day long, 365.
It'll be interesting to see what they come up with setups for this league when it comes down to, you know, the road courses, because everyone's got such a different driving style when it comes to road courses. But, you know, speaking of driving styles, we're about to see some passing going on here as the boss man in the 25, you know, Blake Henderson will take over P2 from Jonathan Adams and try to reel in the leader, John Hagan, in that 97.
There it is. There was the move. John Hagan's got second. He's coming for more. He says, "It's my time. It's my lead. It's my lead. It's my race." And he's wanting to lead a lap.
Problem is, I don't think he's going to get it done on the outside because Hagan has got that bottom lane secured with that 97. And that's the thing. He did the same thing at Homestead. A lot of people tried to venture up into the second groove to try to make some hay. Hagan kept it right down on the bottom, and the car was dialed in all race long for him. So if he's able to hold the bottom here the entire race, it's going to be a long day for everybody.
You know, there's another driver in 2004 that drove the number 97 car.
What are we doing talking about old man Bushy?
I'm just saying, with dominance like this, driving the number 97 car, I think it's coincidental.
Funny thing is, Kurt had actually more wins in 05 than he did in 04.
True.
He just got lucky in 04 by about 2 inches that he didn't, you know, end up stuffing it in the same sand barrels that Larson did. I'm just saying.
Well, right now, there's the eyeball test from Hagan and Henderson. And now Josh Arnold is getting into the mix.
Yeah, it looks like Josh Arnold's got that high line dialed up as well. He may be one that could try to upset the old apple cart there in that multicolored deuce.
Well, nonetheless, here we go. Here's the battle for second. Josh Arnold got the speed, but does he have enough? He's got some help from his friend there. And Henderson's going to lose too.
He might be losing too, but as we're getting ready to cross the line to end lap 75, it's going to be John Hagan once again taking a stage win with Josh Arnold, Blake Henderson, Jonathan Adams, Hunter Peach, Lily Sharp, Josh Susan, Tucker Taylor, Matthew Boone, and Eli Sosek, your top 10.
And we keep racing. We're on lap number 77. A little bit deeper in the field. We got a lot of action. And got to give a shout out to the Blake Henderson and the person that makes these cameras for us. As these are just some really, really good shots.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, these are some really good angles to get this coverage. I know, right?
Shane, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a little crank it up. Let's crank this thing up.
Crank this bad boy up.
Get those speakers up. We're gonna drop out for a couple laps. Crank it up. Shane, I hope you enjoyed that crank it up session as much as I did.
Man, I'm telling you right now, if we had surround sound, it would have been blown clean out. I let Daryl waltz up a little bit right there, man. We got ready to do that thing. Just crank it up, baby.
I mean, I'm glad there's people out there. I want to give a shout out to all the people that are creative enough to make these camera angles, provide us broadcasting with the tools that we need in our toolbox to bring you all this great live action week in and week out. As right now, Elias Flores is making a move to overstat on the inside line. Overstat, I mean, looks like Flores is going to go for the 2-for-1 special.
Yeah, it seems like he's trying to make something work here, and I guess he's able to get the job done or get close enough to it. So, you know, that 8-car Team Conti sponsorship, you know, of course he's going to know what's going on with his setup. So it's good to see him running up here. No, you don't need the scent of the thing.
I mean, Lily Sharp is up 25 spots. Hunter Peach is up 29 spots. Currently inside the top 5.
Yeah, biggest mover, again, Hunter Peach up 29, Lily Sharp up 25. So it's possible to get the job done, you know, moving up through this field. They just got a little bit further to go before they try to crack the lead. And pit stops once again should be happening within the next roughly 5 to 10 laps, give or take, for a lot of the top cars. Some of these guys are going to be coming in a little bit sooner. So it wouldn't surprise me to start seeing pit stop hits real soon.
Here's a fourth place position to the Abilene, Texas native Hunter Peach. As Blake Henderson's going to go up to the proverbial cushion. A little scrapage of the wall, but he's got to keep it straight on the straight and narrow. He's going to lose a ton of time.
I think the tires are wore out on the 25 car. I mean, he's been running in the middle most of the race, and now he's running up here at the top. I think those tires are gone.
I think Blake Henderson's just looking for a what you would call a safe space right now.
Looking for a pocket to drop into so he can cruise to the next pit stop.
Well, right now, if the tires had the same where they'd be screaming it. Whoa!
Oh,
Blake
look
Henderson
out, Blake. Hold on to her.
saves it. How did he do that?
There you go. Good save, man. Good save. But I think you need to come down pit road. I think those tires are done, dude.
I think that was just a safe word if he stays out. I'm trying to work on my line. Look, my one-liners are sadly out of shape. Blake Henderson's going to grab the wall once again. As we got pit stops commencing. Chad Swatsworth went quick timing at number 18. He's out there all by his lonesome. John Hagan and Josh Arnold doing John Hagan and Josh Arnold type things. What's the Triple J show right now?
Yeah, pit stop cycle is starting to really commence now.
Ooh.
Callie
Height is involved.
Well, this is going to shake things up. Oh. Yeah, but does she keep it the rest of the way off of a wall? And yes, she does. Keeps it from getting hit, too. Got away with it, but second caution of the day. This is going to be a godsend for a lot of people.
Well, I tell you right now, Blake Henderson will be the beneficiary of that car.
Yeah, those tires are cooked. Again, it hasn't cooled off at all here. I've been watching the track temp, and it has been steady, and it's just now finally starting to drop a little bit. It's down to 108. It's still a little bit higher than what these cars like. So, I mean, they're going to be struggling for a little bit longer. But it wouldn't surprise me now to start seeing a little bit more grip come out of it.
Well, here's the weather right now. It is currently 78 degrees. We're under 51% relative humidity. And it is 107 scorching degrees on the racetrack right now. As everybody, and I mean everybody, is going to come down pit road.
Wholesale pit stops, man. Feeding time at the zoo.
I like that.
Man, they've been using feeding time at the zoo for years on NASCAR coverage. Just ask Daryl about it, or just ask Larry about it.
I got nothing.
It's what I do. Ooh, a little tight coming off of pit road there for the 25. It's going to see John Hagan hold court with Josh Arnold out behind him and Hunter Peach up to third.
Well, Shane, why don't we do this?
Okay.
Let's do this. We're through pit stops. You know, knowing me, you know I like to pick on people.
I get it.
Who do we want to talk to right now?
I don't know, man. Who do you want to find?
Let's go ahead and talk to the league owner here, Blake Henderson.
Okay. That's all you, man.
Blake, it's Shane and Alan in the broadcast. We've got a copy.
Yeah, I got a copy.
Hey, look, I hope we're not interrupting anything, but, you know, towards that last run, real quickly, we seen that car get extremely loose. Is that conducive? Is that coinciding with the what we're seeing on the racetrack? How you guys are feeling on the racetrack?
It just depends on how you're driving the car. I overdrove it way too much at the beginning, and I was paying the price there at the end. I will say right now, I'm more concerned about making it on fuel. It's going to be really close on it if anyone can make it right now.
Well, look, man, we just wanted to grab you for a real quick chat, and we're going to get you back down to your team, and good luck, and hopefully we'll see you on the other side.
All right, thanks, guys.
And that was the driver out of the Tombstone Racing Stable.
Yeah, as the pace cars can make the hard left-hand turn, fuel mileage could start becoming a factor because once again, it's about 50 laps on a tank. So depending on how hard you push it, it's going to be a tight window. The pace car makes the hard left-hand turn. Barney's got the green flag back in hand. The Geico restart zone awaits John Hagan up front, and we are back green.
There goes John Hagan with the whole shot once again. I mean, what is it about John Hagan figured out that no one else has?
Man, I'm going to tell you right now, in the few leagues that I've been in that I've covered with SRM, there are certain guys that are basically the Ron Hornaday of the league. They know how to time restarts. And John Hagan is already starting to look like the Ron Hornaday of this league, knowing how to restart a race. So whatever he's got, everyone else needs to anticipate a little bit sooner than him. That's the only way they're going to keep up off the race.
Hunter Peach running second up 33 spots, but Lily Sharp, where did she come from? Driver out of France, running that top three right now.
Well, the car is good on fresh tires, and she's been able to slowly work her way around when the tires have worn off a little bit. So it doesn't really surprise me that Lily's up there, but she's coming underneath a little bit of fire right now from that 91 car.
There's that battle, and Jonathan Adams looking for a 2-for-1 touchdown. And, well, Lily Sharp is going to send on Jonathan Adams.
Yeah, the dirty air is starting to play a little bit of a factor now, starting to control things a little bit as Blake Henderson's already back up to fourth. Unfortunately, that 91 car is going to have to slot in right in 6th spot. So whatever they were trying, it didn't exactly work early. But now it's time to regroup, settle in, start clicking off laps again because that 91 car was good late run. Time to set it up once again.
Yeah, and I just want to mention right now, Mark Kissenweather in that 12 car just went quick time with a 31.51. I mean, that's hard to go quick time in the late stages of a race. As we now have 46 laps left in the books here from Kentucky. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and step aside and take our final commercial break of the evening, and we'll be right back. We will miss things. We're going to go side by side here on Sim Racing Media. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the HTL Cup Series live from Kentucky Speedway. And don't adjust your television sets or your computer monitors. You're seeing this correctly. For the first time all race long, John Hagan is not leading this race. We got a couple of housekeeping items we're going to show real quick. One is the pass for the lead while we were away. And here
there's been a couple of solid passes for the lead, but here comes another one as it was set up here. You see Kissenweather go by Peach, but they have been trading this lead back and forth like crazy.
So that was the most recent one, and then the
little bit of a train contact there is the boss in the 25 got into the back end of Peach, who got to the back end of Kissenweather, but thankfully everyone kept it straight.
So here was the original pass for the lead with John Hagan and Hunter Peach. As we caught the tail end of that one, we're going to come back up to the live picture here. At one point, these guys are 3 wide. Now we're 112 laps into this 145 lap affair here.
Yeah, and everyone pitted lap 93. So roughly 20 laps ago. A fuel window is roughly 50 laps on the edge.
Nick Johnson checking into the YouTube.com live chat saying, nice holding the wheel by the 12, should have wrecked.
Well, as hard as he got smacked, I mean, that's one thing. You only get one chance to save these next-gen cars. But the thing about it is, they have to go 52 laps on this tank and these tires. I don't know if anyone can do it.
Now here's what I'm seeing, Shane, is ever since Hunter Peach took the lead, it feels like the race has really slowed down.
It has. I mean, it's gone down. I'm looking at the times right now. It's gone down roughly about a half to 3/4 of a second a lap. So, I mean, some of these guys that ran 31.52s, 31.46s are now running 32.10s and 32.18s. So they're slowing down to try to, keep a little bit of fuel in the tank to the point where if they know they can make it to 145, then they'll be able to push it.
I mean, I would expect they'd have to come in around lap 120-ish mark.
In this gaggle of cars, you're not going to want to give up the track position. Right now, these guys are conserving a little bit. Now, if a caution were to come out within the next, 10,
they're all
20
coming down.
lap,
They're all coming down.
easily. Oh, easily. You follow the leader, get your stickers, and race it. But right now, you don't want to give up this track position because there are still, by my counts, roughly 30-ish cars on the lead lap, I want to say. 23 officially. 23 cars are on the lead lap right now. So you step out and you try to, hope that either everyone else runs out of fuel or what have you. Right now, you'd be looking at dropping down to 23rd, 24th, if not deeper. As we got another pass for the lead, looking to brew.
Here comes John Hagan looking to get that 2-for-1 special going on. And Lily Sharp having a connection issue. That's going to wreak havoc on some of these drivers. And they're going to dodge her and stay out of her way.
Yeah, Lily Sharp popping in back out of nowhere, but only drops down to 6th. As seems like everyone's going to be able to get around her successfully. The lead back up front goes back to Peach. Right now, this is a little bit of unfamiliar territory for the 97. At Homestead, he dominated. This race so far, he dominated. But now he's finally got the competition. But the question is he conserving a little bit more than everybody else and is still able to stay up here?
Right now, John Hagen's still in for Super 1 special. Hunter Peach is the Pied Piper right now. He continues to lead here, left 119. We're getting really close to about 40 to go.
Nah, dude. If we're looking at 120, we're looking at about 25 to go. Yeah, we're at 26 to go right now.
I know. Look, we're doing St. Louis math. Come on.
Maine math ain't that much better. Hell, the guy in the 90 could tell you that.
Dean Clavitt there in that number 90 car. Mired all the way back there in that 22nd position. Probably wishing that he'd have a better night.
Well, at least it keeps his mind off the fact it's freezing cold up here right now.
You guys can keep the cold.
I don't want the cold. Let's send it down to Florida or something.
I mean, we're in the virtual Kentucky. We're in the Bluegrass State virtually. Look, speaking of the weather, I want you to think warm thoughts. As right now, it is 77 degrees ambient temperature. The track temperature with 24 laps to go has come down. Not really quite to that sweet spot just yet, or the witching hour, as our good friend Dave Regal would say. But it's still, if you want warmth, there's your warmth. 102 degrees on the track right now.
Yeah, which means these tires are finally starting to get into the sweet spot, but the problem is it's not going to be long term as John Hagen repicks the lead up. Unfortunately, if it was earlier in the run and it was 102 degrees, these tires would be a lot more effective. This late in the run, oh, hell no, dude. They ain't going to be that effective. You're going to be sliding around still because you've worn everything out of them.
Well, as the late, great Toby Keith always wrote that song, it's a little too late and I'm a little too gone.
I thought you were going to say I'm not as good as I once was, but as good once as I ever was.
That's all you need.
I hate it here sometimes.
Meanwhile, John Hagen, doing John Hagen things, gets the lead back finally. 100 Peach, let's see how that went down.
I think it was just clear cut. You know, once again, the 97 running the bottom, and, you know, he's just able to make it stick.
Ooh, the 20 gets a little loose and the 97 capitalizes.
Yeah, again, it's just the tires, man. They're that far shot, and if you're able to hold on to a little something, as the 97's been able to bottom feed all race, you're able to capitalize a lot easier.
Hagen finally getting clear of the 20 car and coming up to the 4.
Yep.
Well, we got 20 laps to go, Shane. We are now to a short track shootout type style race.
Yeah, and it's still going to be a battle of who's going to conserve more, because no one's going to want to come down pit road unless they absolutely have to.
Blake
Because,
Hinton, I was gonna say.
yeah, Blake's looking like he's a little on the loose side still, so, you know, that car is definitely not happy.
Well, you know, when we talked to Blake during the last auction, he said it was really, really, really close on fuel on the go-go. We were making 4 wide briefly.
Yeah, that's a little dicey right there.
Caitlin Height, I mean, it's been up for 3 wide. Oh, boy. And Bailey Thompson playing a little ping pong with the 99 and the 25.
Yeah, unfortunately. Whoa, a little contact there with the 9 right. You know, now the gloves are also starting to come off, but at the same token, you still have to keep an eye on that fuel gauge because, you know, it's going to come down to the point of, with it being 10 to go, then 5 to go, do you actually have enough to get there?
I don't know, but I mean, at this point, whoa, hello. I feel like
99 got its stuff a little bit loose.
well, look, he had 99 problems with the wall ain't one.
Really? Really?
They come to me in my sleep.
Talk about a nightmare. Wow.
No, the nightmare is what my back
Know the feeling.
is.
Meanwhile, up front, you know, Hagen still hasn't checked out on Peach. I mean, Peach is still hanging within a couple of tenths.
Peach is
And-
keeping Hagen honest.
Yeah, he is. He really is. And he's also kind of doing it in an interesting way. He's kind of arcing the car just a little bit more in the corners than what Hagen is doing. Like he's driving down the hill to the apex and then just kind of letting the car feed off the bottom. As I say that, he moves to the second groove and says, "Shut up there."
Do you think he hears us in the car?
A lot of these people have the stream up when they're driving, dude.
I know I do.
So it wouldn't surprise me if they hear all of this going on and they're like, you know what, I'm going to change this up just to shut them up there.
Well, you know, speaking of Zachary Meredith, up 11 spots in the 17 car, a different look. He brought out the Thomas and Friends car for Daytona. And now he's in a different color car for here in Kentucky. Not
Yep.
sure what the paint scheme was last week. I think it might have been the same.
Yeah, I think it was. I think the 17 was still running Thomas. And then this came out this week.
Hey, look. 9-year-old me fell in love with the Thomas and Friends car.
Well, you know, to each their own.
Look, I'm telling you what, PBS is when we were kids, PBS was the at-home sick channel during the winter months.
That and CBS from about 9 to 12.
12 laps left here in the books. John Hagen doing John Hagen things. We're going to catch up with John Hagen and kind of see where he's at.
Starting to pull away a little bit from Peach. I mean, he's only got about another tenth or two in the tank on him. So he's only sitting about a quarter second up. But they've checked out from Susie and everybody else to the tune of a second to Josh and about 2 seconds to Josh Gaiman in the 33.
I'm going to say this right now. If you're John Hagen, at this point with 11 to go, coming to 10 to go, you pretty much made your bed. You're going to lie in it, barring anything crazy happens like a caution.
Barring a crazy caution, yeah, he's got to, you know, let the thing cruise from here. And like I said, they're down almost a second. So they've backed the pace up to try to conserve fuel.
Ten laps to go. It's been all John Hagen all race long. Mark Kissenweather had issues early on in the race. He has bounced back up to the top 5.
Well, you know, I could say it's because of the paint job on that 12, but you know, I don't have a team in the National League East, so I really can't say much. I'm just saying.
Back here on that 20. A lot of great battles going on. I tell you what, I gotta check this out right now. I've seen this going on.
Oh, what'd you see now?
The FedEx car.
The FedEx Camaro?
Yes.
Yeah, what about the 29?
That's what it would have looked like if FedEx was Kevin Harvick back in the day.
I could see that. I mean, when obviously we knew Harvick ended up going with Goodwrench still with that black and silver, and then it had the Shell Pennzoil and a few other sponsors before he went over to Stuart Haas.
Well, right now, Bailey Thompson at number 27. He may not be leading the race. I mean, I'm pretty sure he didn't at a Holiday Inn.
Oh my God.
7 laps to go. He's mired all the way back in that 14th position. That one was a knee slapper.
More like a face palmer.
Only in Maine.
You really had to go there?
But I've been playing with you. I haven't been to in a long time.
Oh. I got nothing. Meanwhile, back up front, Hagan and Peach are still keeping each other honest here as we're getting ready to come down to the fistful. 5 to go.
5 laps to go. 5 in the air for John Hagan. And
Now the question is, did either of these two save enough to try to get to the finish? And do they have enough to push each other hard enough to possibly force the other one into a mistake?
I think Hunter Peach knows he's not gonna win this race legit. Or maybe he feels that way.
Oh, he's starting to push it a little bit now. I mean, he just about took the back bumper off the 97 going through the tri-oval. He's getting a bit of a better run through 3 and 4, where Hagan's getting that run off of 1 and 2. Now Hagan's starting to break the draft a little bit. He knows what's going on now as we're getting down to race time. We're going to come up on 3 to go this time by.
Here we go. This is what. Oh, they're both using the apron.
Yeah, that I just saw the 97 bounce as Peach bounces off the wall. Oh boy, we're getting down to it.
3 laps to go.
Yeah, 2 to go this time by. The popsicle sticks are going to be going up. And Peach is still trying to hunt down this win.
Oh, because of the wall coming out of the 4.
Yeah, both guys are starting to use the tri-oval a little bit more. You know, the bumps be damned at the bottom. They're trying to do everything they can to try to put the move on the other one. Hagan's been holding them off so far, but as we're getting ready, the popsicle sticks are down. The Henderson Graphics white flag will be waiting this time by. The question is, who's going to have enough fuel to get to the finish? John Hagan's looking right now like he's got a shot. White flag in the air.
John Hagan ran a masterful race.
Yeah, he might have ran a masterful race, but it's not over yet. Peach is looking still. Both guys look like they're going to have enough fuel to try to make it here to the end. Peach is closing back up on him. Hagan's going to run the bottom line where that 97 has felt comfortable. Peach is going to try to use the top line to get the slingshot move off. I don't think it's going to be enough as they come down to the checkers. Hagan
goes break out the broom because Hagan just swept 1 stage, 2 stages, and then he gets the win.
Woo! Hagan gets it done again in Kentucky.
John Hagan wins in Kentucky. Hunter Peach and Josh Susie your top three?
Another dominating intermediate run for that 97 car. As here come the teammates to say, nice job, nice job. Let's see how much fuel he actually did save. Looks like he's got enough to do a nice little smoke show.
I mean, he did go on the Maxwell House strategy.
Oh my goodness.
So we get these guys up here to the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth.
Yeah.
And Shane, let's talk with our race winner. He's with you.
Hey, John, it's Shane in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I do. What's up?
Man, back-to-back weeks talking with you. This doesn't get old, does it?
No, it does not. This was an awesome race today. A great battle of tire conservation and even fuel strategy there at the end. That last stint, we started off about a half lap short, and everything was just more than you can ask for. I mean, we got the full fuel runs like people were asking for, so that we could show off how to save tires, and uh, a great race to the end right there, neck and neck, searching around for grip and moving around on the track, and that was just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you just said it yourself with the fuel run. You guys were looking like it was going to be a tight window at the end here because fuel was only supposed to go around 50 laps. You guys had to go 52 on this last run. How did you manage to make that happen?
You could go like right at 50, shifting the entire run. So I just didn't shift for the first half of the run and let the car roll a little bit earlier on corner entry and saved about a lap that way. And that put me to the good. And from there, it was just back to business. It was a little bit harder than the first two runs. I had a couple people thinking they could get out front and played air games and prevent anybody else from getting back by. But luckily, I had enough tires saved to get it done.
Yeah, the one thing we noticed from Homestead and here, you know how to get the bottom feeding with this 97 car. So before we let you get out of here, man, who helps you get it done that 97 you want to thank for this second win here this evening?
I'm going to shout out the Ascent Racing Twitter and Ascent Racing as a whole, x.com/Ascent Racing _. Check them out. We got possible openings for y'all to come to the team, and we'd love you here. Shout out HTL for throwing on another banger of a race. Shout out Team Conti for the great setup. It was perfect. It drove exactly the way I liked it too. And I know they're not making sets for me; they're making it for the league, but it was still perfect. Uh, Shout out Eli Sasick again for letting me into the car, and all my teammates, Tucker, the other Eli, and John Adams. And a shout out you guys for throwing on the broadcast. I hope I put on a good show for you again.
Hey, well, we hope you enjoy this one, dude, because it was definitely a fun one to watch. Celebrate that win, enjoy it, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, sir.
And that was the voice of John Hagan. So we're going to go ahead and get him back down to the waiting room. And Hunter was hoping to finish one spot better, but nonetheless, you know, you had the lead there for a while, but, you know, up 32 spots. Take us through that race and what you experienced out there, and what more could you needed out of the car to be at the top of the pile.
I don't know what else I could have got out of the car. I tried everything. Just want to say, congrats to Hagen. Phenomenal race he put on. Absolute clinic. Whooped us again. Second week in a row. Let Homestead slip away. But overall, pretty solid race. Wrecked the car in qualifying, started P last. So, to take a P2, I think it's a pretty good rebound.
Absolutely. And then, as we move along in the series, what's going to be the strategy to finally get to knock John Hagan off that top spot and to start winning some of these races?
Man, I don't know. I think it takes a lot, honestly. You got to be. I tried everything, really holding that lead, trying every line, every way possible. It's just you got to really get the clean air, especially at these types of tracks where it's just you could get to them. How I was the last 10 or so laps, and it's just that bubble effect just stuck every time. I mean, it's literally the Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano simulator at that point where it's just you can get a run, you just can't do anything with it. I mean, if I got side by side, I'm shipping in turn one regardless. I mean, there's no other really option.
Well, before we get you out of here, is there anybody you'd like to thank that helped get you here tonight?
Obviously, you know, you got to shout out David, allow me to take co-ownership of this team, and got to shout out Lily for driving on the team, Tyler for being a part of the team, and then also Alfredo for joining the team full time to fill in for Seth. Glad to have him here. Shout out to what all y'all do on the broadcast, Henderson's graphics, um, Team Conti for allowing us to drive these setups. Wasn't my favorite setup tonight, but you know, figured it out and kind of start to have fun with it a little bit. So you know, it was an overall pretty good setup. And then obviously shout out, I guess, Alani on the cars because we don't have any team cars yet. I don't know where our paints are for the team, but till then, got to shout out DN, NJB Designs for paints he does on all my other cars, and everybody else in the league, Blake and all of them.
All right. Well, once again, congratulations on that P2 finish, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Y'all take care.
And Shane, I believe you have Josh with you.
Hey, Josh, it's Shane up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Hey, man, solid P3 finish. Did you have anything for those top two cars, or was it just more trying to manage your P3 at the end there?
No, it was more managing. I had to deal with traffic so much. I didn't have anything left. Congrats to Hagen. He's really good at running off the right rear, and that's what you need to do at this dog water track.
Yeah, definitely. It seemed like everyone was struggling with tires for the most part as this race wore on. How was the conservation for you as this race went on?
Well, I thought I was doing good, but you know, you let some people by to save your stuff, and then they can just hang in the middle, and you can't pass them. So it's like it almost forces you to be aggressive. And I really try to pride myself in the long run. And just a track like this, you got to run off the right rear, and that's really not what I'm comfortable doing. So definitely wasn't in my wheelhouse. So be able to get a P3 is pretty good, all things considered.
Yeah, definitely. We kept an eye on you a good little part of this race, so seeing you up here at the end was definitely good. Before we let you get out of here to celebrate this finish, man, who helps you get it done on that 81 you want to thank tonight?
Yeah, man. First and foremost, as always, Nitro Setups. Go check them out if you want to run anything official on the NASCAR side of things. I know that's a little contradictory to our league sponsor, but I can't help who I drive through. Everyone at Lady Liberty Motorsports and our technical alliances, we had a couple in the top 10. You know, we'll keep getting stronger as the year goes on, and all the admins, all two of them we have here, working behind the scenes. They do a good job, and we really appreciate you guys coming on board to broadcast this for us. First time I get to talk to you, so hopefully there's many more where that comes from. And for my second race back since October, I'll take it. We'll keep getting better.
All right, man. Well, we'll see you next week. Celebrate this P3 finish and try to enjoy a little bit getting out of here, huh?
All right, appreciate it.
And that was Josh Susi and the number 81 car, your P3 finisher here tonight. But, you know, here we are, Shane. We've reached the end of another one. And before we get out of here, let's go over those results. John Hagan going to put it in victory lane. He's going to park it with Hunter Peach second and Josh Susi rounding out your podium. While Jonathan Adams, Josh Gaiman, and Dave Schmiel Jr. finishes 4th, 5th, and 6th. Tucker Saylor, Kyle Taub, and Zachary Meredith will finish 7th, 8th, and 9th respectively. While Matthew Boone rounds out your top 10. Lily Sharp will finish 11th. Mark Kisenweather will finish 12th. Jeremy Baralt will finish 13th. Eli Sack will finish 14th. Bailey Thompson will finish 15th. Elias Flores will finish 16th. 17th will go to Stephen Overstat. And Blake Henderson, the boss man here at HTL, will finish in that all-important 18th finishing spot. Going a little
Yeah,
bit deeper in the field.
I was gonna say 19th would go to Tyler Ratliff, and rounding out the top 20 will be Alfred Denny in the 21 Ford. 21st will belong to Gary Donaldson. 22nd, main zone, Dean Clavitt, who is filling in for Dylan McDonald tonight. Will bring that car home clean, and the last car on the lead lap will Caitlin Height will finish 23rd. 24th, DeMonte Dotson. 25th, Austin Mongold. 26th will be Shad Swatsworth. 27th, Zachary Apperton. 28th, Ross Baxter. 29th, David Wright. And 30th will be Richard Ode III. While 31st goes to Kevin Gibney Jr. Callie Height will be 32nd. 33rd, Patrick Oberstadt. 34th, at the aforementioned debuting Alfredo Hidalgo III. 35th will be Dale Markowski. Josh Darnold will be 36th. 37th, Carmen Sienna. 38th, Seth Wansing in the 24. And 39th, unfortunately, the last one to run, Dustin Hall.
Yeah, unfortunately, Dustin Hall will win the race to the beer stand. Not a race you really want to win here, but someone had to win it, so it might as well have been him. Hope he has a frosty cold one for us. But Shane, before we get out of here, any closing thoughts?
Well, they're, like I said earlier on in this event, they're in the meat and potatoes side of the schedule now, with the intermediate tracks playing dominant. And if this is any indication of what we're about to see in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to tell you right now, John Hagan is about to put a stranglehold on this championship.
Well, before we get out of here, I just want to give a shout out to Mike the Bunny for letting me sit in it and keep the chair warm for him. Next week, I believe you'll have Angel Santiago for the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Give or take.
Shane, it's been an absolute blast. I'm glad I was able to sit in. But why don't you go ahead and bring us on home so we can get up on out of here?
Yeah, we got a flight to catch to Chicagoland next week with these same drivers. So on behalf of Alan Bergen and Mike the Money, who unfortunately could not be here due to a prior engagement, I am the man, the myth, the legend, the dog father himself, Shane Lake, saying today, tomorrow, and every day as we go down that road of life, please don't play in traffic. And until we meet again next week, everybody, take care.